Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, June 23rd, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable, SEOroundtable.com, over the past week. First up, Google did some talking about the mobile first index update and what's going on with that. So Google said that if you are planning on moving from an MDOT to a responsive website, you should definitely go ahead and do that before Google releases their mobile first index, which isn't going to happen for some time, but again, if you're moving from a MDOT, which is over here, to just a normal www responsive mobile friendly website, do it now. Why? Because Google first indexes your desktop website, which would be the www, and they annotate that you have an MDOT. So if you go ahead and remove the MDOT and redirect the MDOT to the www, Google will then go ahead and just remove the annotations. They don't really index your MDOT domain, they just index your mobile domain, the MDOT domain. I'm sorry, they do not index your MDOT domain. They index the desktop, the www, and they only annotate that you have a mobile version of that desktop page on a MDOT. If you redirect it, it's just going to remove the annotations. If Google went ahead and did the mobile first index today, if Google went ahead and moved to the mobile first index and you have an MDOT domain and then you decide to move to a responsive site, then what's going to happen is Google's going to go ahead and fully index the MDOT domain and annotate that you have a desktop version on a certain URL. And then if you want to go ahead and do that move, it's like doing a whole site move as opposed to just doing an annotation move. And that's a big change, and Google said if you're planning on doing that, do it before the mobile first index, which is pretty good advice. And sorry for those hiccups. Google, we won't launch the mobile first index on one specific day. So this is pretty interesting. So Google basically said this in the past. They said they're going to probably launch it in batches. And what I thought what they meant in terms of launching the mobile first index in batches was that specifically they would go ahead and launch it for X number of percent of searchers and so forth, or launch it for certain types of niches and stuff. But Google then basically said they're going to move it on a site-by-site basis. So they're going to first run some type of algorithm, I guess, and say, all right, these sites are completely mobile friendly. The content to equivalency ratio between the mobile and desktop are pretty much 100%. We're going to go ahead and do that move because we're comfortable with these sites. And it seems like Google's going to do it on a site-by-site basis. It's not going to be done on a specific launch date. It's going to be done slowly on a site-by-site basis, and that will be interesting to see how and when that goes out. Google Posts are now live for all Google My Business businesses. So if you want your Google My Business to get one of these types of things here, which is loading, basically you can actually inject real-time content directly into Google search results if in your local listing. So this is my company's local listing. Let me zoom in there. Sorry, it's very sensitive. And you can see here's my local listing, and if I scroll down, here's a Google My Business Google post, which says, here's a photo, check out, description, and learn more, which takes you to a specific URL. The way this works is you're able to go ahead and, as you can see here, go to Google My Business, click on Post, you get this screen, and then you can actually create your post, add an image, write some text, make it an event if you want, create a call to action button, and add a button. You can preview it, and then click Publish, and then it's posted in there, and then you get it live straight in the Google search results listings, which is pretty cool, and that launched last night around 6 p.m. Eastern. Google officially launched their jobs search posting schema, their structured data. So if you do want to get into the Google Jobs search feature, you can then go ahead and go to the Google blog or go here and actually access the documentation for how to actually add structured data markup for your job postings. This could work for small businesses that have job postings that want to mark it up and get it included in Google. It could work for sites like Monster.com and major sites like that. If you are a job search site, you do need to get into their expedited feature because you have lots of job listings that are constantly happening. But outside of that, if you just list some jobs, your company that has 5, 10, 20 jobs posted on your website, you can definitely get that included using this structured data. Gary from Google kind of joked, what if we're messing around with the algorithm tracking tools? So Mozcast, Alguru, Rank Ranger, SEM Rush's tool, all these tools are going crazy for the past month and a half, 2 months, And Gary's like, hey, maybe we're just messing with these tracking tools. What do you ever think about that? And of course, Google actually commented about that in the past. I don't think they are. I think Gary was joking. But it is interesting to see what those tracking tools are going nuts with all month. But the webmasters relatively haven't seen anything for the past few weeks or so. John Mueller said you have to make sure to make your mobile and desktop pages equivalent in terms of content and features. He said from a user experience, it's not fun going to a page that's mobile friendly, that is not specifically as powerful, feature rich, and content rich as the desktop equivalent. And of course, it also makes a difference in terms of how Google's going to index you for the mobile first index. But you can do whatever you want. It's your website, he said, but he recommends making it equivalent. Gary said yesterday, he posted this tweet out of the blue basically saying that moving a site that was hit by Panda is not going to go ahead and help it recover from Panda, specifically because it's part of the crawl algorithm. Here's what he said. You can see it right here. Don't think of Panda as a penalty. It's part of the crawl algo. And if you don't improve your website, a move won't help you untangle yourself. And he specifically said, again, you need to improve the quality of your site. Moving domains will not improve your rankings, specifically for Panda. Again, I don't know what triggered that. He probably got some emails and so forth. Gary from Google also added that content stitching or quilting is not the same thing as near duplicate content, which we discussed last week. That's another terminology. There's lots of white papers and research papers around what content stitching is and quilting is. This is an interesting tidbit. Google may skip URLs that repeat the same path many, many times. So there was one site that was complaining. You can see the URL structure over here. I'll zoom in. So let me just zoom in a little bit more. There you can see it, and I put an animated GIF there so you actually see what's going on. You see the URL structure keeps getting longer and longer, but it keeps repeating this pattern of this URL with these brackets and so forth. And Google said they may go ahead and actually just ignore that type of repetitive path. So if you are using dynamic URLs, make sure or rewrites, make sure to not do that. Google says they love when webmasters and SEOs and websites have navigation structure that has breadcrumb trails with links. It's a very useful thing for both users and searchers and crawlers. Google said checkmark characters and title tags definitely look spammy. It's not saying you're getting penalized for it, but if you are using this checkmark character in your URLs, John Mueller said it does look spammy to him at least. Google said that even though sometimes Google says their site moves could take about 2 weeks, in reality it really takes about 3 months. I'm in speed mode right now. Google said that if you are using the parameter handling feature in Google Search Console, be very careful. Watch out. It's a big gun. It's a directive, and it could really mess up your site if you're not doing it right. Google said if you are using the Google Search Console APIs, make sure to look at your last day of data, and refresh that last day of data, because Google often could have more data because it's the last day, and they might have more information in there the next day as it populates more information. If you want to trigger a suggested clip video answer, we covered this about in April, where you could actually do a search in Google, and Google will actually hyperlink you in the video directly to the answer. So I did a search, how to tile on a floor on YouTube, and instead of it showing you the whole video, which is 3.5 minutes, it just jumps you to the 1.5 minute mark, and it shows you the answer is right within this range, which is pretty cool. It's a very cool feature. Gary said he doesn't have clearance to do manual actions, so stop threatening his life. He can't go ahead and penalize you with a manual action. Google may have launched local business highlight icons and hotel pricing labels. So these are the local listing highlights. These are the icons, and the hotel pricing labels are here. And it seems like it's live. I asked Google for confirmation days and days ago. I asked them again. Still have not heard back. Google has a new fidget spinner. You just go do a search for spinner on Google, and you'll get this little fidget spinner, which is cute. And finally, the SEO Movie. SEO the Movie is out. So if you want to watch it, it's about 40 minutes. It has interviews with myself, Danny Sullivan, Jill Whalen, Ray Hoffman, Danny Sullivan, and Rand Fishkin, and some Brett Tapke and a few others. So definitely take a look at that. It's pretty fun. And there's some fun comments from other industry legends that have pretty much helped build the industry that were not included. So it's pretty funny. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. I'll see you guys next week. Again, today is June 23rd. Everyone have a great week, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.